Hey, welcome back everyone. This is Brian again, and today we're gonna continue with the video that the tutorial on how to upgrade our Zoom hosting skills with OBS and VB cable or voice meter. And this part of the tutorial is just about how to use them in a Mac computer. I'm going to assume that you have everything installed as we previously discussed, and I'm going to proceed to show you how would it look like if we use OBS or VB cable depending on what we need. So let's just assume that we're starting our Zoom call as usual. And I want to show you something. If you go to the settings of your camera, this little arrow right here, you will notice that you have a new camera right here that you can choose. Okay, and this new camera is called OBS virtual camera. And if you go to the microphones, you will see that speaker and microphone now say something like VB cable if you are in Mac and you installed already the VB cable software. Going to the microphone in VB cable will help us have, in both cases, VB cable and OBS camera basically allow us to input virtual sources of sound. Now, let me show you how that would look like. For starters, if you open your camera and you select OBS, you will see something like this, which is pretty weird. And you will see that the camera has this camera icon right here below the OBS logo, has a line crossing the camera. That indicates that the virtual camera that you want to use in OBS is turned off. So the first thing that we need to do is we gotta go find the OBS app. I have it in the dock already, so I don't have struggled much about it. So at the beginning, when you open for the first time your software, your OBS, you will not have anything in these two little windows, and probably it will look like this with one single screen. So you have two ways of organizing your media. One of them is what we call scenes, and the other one is called sources. You can think of this as two different levels. Scenes basically is the major level in OBS, and within your scenes you have different sources to feed that particular scene. For example, this scene right here, I have it divided as timers, videos, and images. So what I do is I just create one scene, I name it, and then inside this new scene, I can kind of move it around depending on how it's more convenient for me. I can put different sources like an audio input, the browser. If I have a capture card device, you don't have to worry about that much, to be honest. Any color source, images, slideshows, etc. Videos. For example, if I want to put a video, I can put a media source instead of a video capture. One would think it's video capture, but it's actually media source. Then I can even put another scene, one of these scenes, as an input right here. And the thing is, let me show you something. I'm going to delete this scene right now. Let's go to videos. For example, actually this doesn't work right here. I'm going to delete it. I was doing a test. But for example, do I have any video? No. If I go to properties and then I try to find a video, let me try to find one. Yeah, like for example, the preview tutorial that we did. If I go to properties and then I select the local file in my computer after browsing, then I can put the video here as a source. You can see how it's playing, right? You see the little arrow playing around. And if I had the audio enabled, you could even hear what I was talking about. But the thing is, you can play with the size of the source, you see? You can play with it. And you, like for example, if I wanted to have, let's say I want to have an image. If I go find an image in my computer, I can put the image. If I click on Command F, it'll adjust the image to my screen, or I can play around and make it like bigger and use it as a background. This is the tricky part, okay? And then I can play, like for example, I can bring the image to the bottom. This works like layers. Depending on the layer is how something will look on top of something. So right now the image is on top of these two videos, so I don't see the other video. But if I bring the image all the way to the bottom, then you can see that the video now, this video is here. Can you see it? So I'm gonna select my video and I can make it bigger, for example. So you can play, like this is one of the reasons why you could, for example, add as a source another scene. Like for example, here I'm gonna select my scene that is timer. And now you see, if I go to my scene timer only, I will see this. But if I go to videos, now I will have this scene timer and I can make it smaller too. You know, that, I mean, I'm making it a little more complex right now, but what I'm trying to show, I don't want you to like worry about this in detail right now because this is too complex for a beginner's tutorial. But what I'm trying to do right now is to show you how this tool of OBS is very, 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 very flexible and gives us a lot of opportunities and a lot of, how to say it, like chances to do many crazy stuff. But anyway, let's delete this right here, and then we select the image right here, and then again Command F, and I'll bring the video to the scale. Okay, you can select your video and pause it, stop it, rewind it, etc. You can move it around, go forward, go backwards, etc. But anyway, before we jump into how would this look like in Zoom, one thing that I want to show you is you want to go to the controls window right here in the bottom right, and then you want to click on studio mode, because then this will show you two things. If you see on top here, right here, it says preview videos, and then it says on the right program videos. Preview, if you have worked with something like the Atom or a TriCaster or any of those video switchers that we have to produce an event physically, you will know that this works very similar to that. You will have a preview, which is something that you are looking at right now. Like check it out. I'm changing scenes, right? I'm switching from scenes right now. Let me bring up an image here, just so you can see it more clearly. Like, let's put the diamond cutter just for blessing. You see here the diamond cutter, right? But in the preview, but in the program, you don't see it. Program basically is what the audience will see when you open your virtual camera. And the preview is what you will want to watch, to show them next, but they will not see that particular part. Okay, so for example, and how do you switch your preview to the program? Pretty simple. You just go here and click on transition, and now they will see the Diamond Cutter Sutra. And if I want to go back to my video, then I click on transition again, and then the video will start playing. Now, if we go to Zoom and we open our camera again, ta-da, nothing has happened. We still don't see the media. So what we need to do is we gotta go to OBS, and then we have to click right here where it says Start Virtual Camera. And now, if we go to Zoom, this is what my camera will be showing the audience. And if I want, like, let me make this smaller. How can I do that? Like here, for example. No, this is not it. Tick, tick, tick. No, yeah, this is it. Sorry. Let me ting. Here. Okay, here. So check it out. You see the video right here. This is Zoom, okay? This is what I'm moving is the Zoom. Now, look what happens when I switch when I put the transition, when I change of scene. Ting. You see, now the camera in Zoom is showing the Diamond Cutter Sutra. And if I do the transition again, the video starts to play again. And this is one of the best parts about using OBS and not sharing the video with the computer. If you need to pause, if you need to stop, if you need to restart, if you need to move around the video, I want you to notice how here in the little thumbnail, you don't see the mouse, okay? So it looks way more professional, because then the audience, the user experience is much better, because they are not looking at how you move around. And if you go and switch to your image, they don't see anything. They just see the switch. And one cool thing is, while your video is playing, let's put the video and keep an eye on the Zoom, okay? Let's go to Brave. You see, I'm doing something else in my computer. I don't know. I mean, I have Facebook blocked in my browser because I'm an addict in recovery. So I blocked the website, but I could be, and I don't encourage it, by the way. I don't encourage it. But I could be in Facebook or whatever, doing whatever I want, and the audience will still see the video, and they will not see if I, for example, let's say my boss tells me, hey, Brian, I need you to prepare whatever image or video to show next. Then I go to my computer or to the ACI website and try to find that image, and people will not have an interrupted experience in Zoom. And at the same time, I will not have to have an extra computer. Everything can happen in the same computer. And the same happens in, for example, if I'm using Windows, I told you before, and I'm gonna do a tutorial on how to do it on Windows. Now, this is how to show something on Zoom through OBS, right? But how about, like, this video has an audio, and if I go to Zoom, let's bring this up. If I go to Zoom, let me change. Look, I want, well, right now, you can see here that the microphone selected is my Mac's microphone, okay? So as I talk, you can see that the microphone is working and it's capturing some sound. But if I change to another source that does not have a sound, then you will not see any audio capture from Zoom. But if I go to BB Cable, notice how I'm not talking, okay? And Zoom is still detecting some sound. The reason why that happens is because through the BB cable, the audio in my computer is, well, in Zoom, is coming from the video that we are playing, okay? And let's try to do a test mic. Check it out and please listen to the audio that comes back on the test. The prerequisites are the same. It's just get OBS on your computer. You see? So the audio that is coming through the BB cable is actually coming from the video that we are showing in OBS. Now, there's something that you need to do in order to make that happen. So once you have selected your video source, you want to make sure that the source, two things have to happen. One of them is that the source have to be in the program, okay? Meaning that you are already showing it. But the other one is that here in the audio mixer zone on the bottom, you go and click these two gears, okay? Advanced audio properties. And then once you find your source, by the way, if you don't see your source, it's probably because you have it only in preview. So you can untick this little box and it will show you all your sources of audio, okay? And I mean, here, let me rename my source of video and let's call it, I don't know, tutorial. Okay, I want you want to find in the name your source. In this case, we have tutorial. And in audio monitoring, I want you to notice how Macintosh screen capture has the audio monitoring turned into monitor off. Okay, that's the default setting for audio monitoring. If we want it to be heard or sent to OBS, then we want to go to monitor and output. That is very, very, very important. Monitor and output. Once we click here, we go to close. And then we gotta go to settings. And then we have to go to audio. And we gotta scroll down until we reach the advanced section. And in monitoring device, we have to make sure that we have VV cable, okay? That's very, very, very important. Once we have that, then we click on OK, and that is what will make our audio coming to Zoom. Now, I'm gonna delete this source, okay? Bye. And I'm gonna add a new video source, media source, okay? Let's call it tutorial again. Okay, tutorial 2. And let's try to find that video here. And I want to show you, before we keep going, I want to show you two things. Number one, it gives you the chance to play the video in loop, which we don't want in this case. Number two, it says restart playback when source becomes active. When is the source becoming active? Whenever we switch it to program, okay? Generally, we want to have this one set, unless you want to start a video like right in the middle of the video, or in any minute that is not minute 0, then you want to disable this one. And then this one we just ignore. And show nothing when playback ends. This one we want to keep it enabled, okay? Then the speed, very rarely I have alter the speed. So I would just leave it as 100. And don't forget about the rest. And you click OK. Now let's put our well, generally I like to click stop and rewind, because that will allow me to see in the preview how the video is arranged. Okay, so right here you can see that the how do we call this? The canvas of OBS is smaller than the proportion of my video. So remember, the command or the shortcut to fit it to the screen is Command F. Okay, and this reminds me that if you want to switch the size of your canvas in OBS, you can go to Settings to Video, and then you can play here with the size of the canvas. Right now it's not letting me because I have the virtual camera on. So if I turn it off and I come back to video, now you can see that I can play with the aspect ratio and the resolution. So for example, I can come here and select this one. Now, base canvas pretty much means the preview or the simple canvas. And the output means how is your audience going to watch this. So in general, you want to have it like 1080 or 7020 pixels, or this one which is 4K. And frames per second, that's up to your needs. Generally, we don't need that much, but just for the sake of this video, let's switch it and check how the ratio change. Again, Command F to fit the screen. Whoop. And then transition, we gotta, you see how the video fits better as opposed to as how we had it before. But anyway, let's turn on our camera, virtual camera, and let's go to zoom. And now let's go to audio settings. You can see here that I have the VB cable audio enabled. Obviously, our video is already part of the canvas of program, and still I'm not getting any sign of audio in my bar. And even if we test and I keep talking, this thing will not have any audio marked. You see, it's not, you don't even hear anything from that. That's because OBS, well, that's because the source is not my microphone of the computer, but also in the VB cable, which is supposed to bring the audio of the video, we don't have any sound. So what we need to do is what I taught you previously, okay? And that is important, guys. And you gotta make sure that you have that enabled before you play the video in a live session. So you gotta go to Advanced, find your source, switch to Monitor and Output, assuming that you already changed here to VB cable. That this you only have to do once. This one you have to do it every time you put a new source, okay? But for example, if you switch this video for another one and change the name, which is something that I recommend, like for example, you don't show the same video in every single call. So if you have one source and you just switch the source, I mean the file, then you don't need to be adding more and more and more sources, because then your OBS will be a chaos. So just keep one. Anyway, let's play the video and let's go back to Zoom after we did the monitor and output thing. And we should have audio in our Zoom now. And I mean, right here you can see it in the microphone that is already moving, meaning that you already have audio. But let's test it. Let's test it. Something very cool, which is, you see? So that's exactly how we show videos and we share audio. Like for example, one other cool thing that we can do here is if we go to our, in a Mac, to our audio source right here, and we switch to VV cable instead of the microphone, now everything you play in your computer, I'm gonna switch to the Heart Sutra here in our source. And let's say I want to play some music, okay? Let's play some Paul McCartney. Okay. Let's go to audio settings. This is very important. If you want to share your music in Zoom, you want to make sure that you have the live performance audio enabled in the audio profile, and then that you click in live performance audio right here on the top right, switch it, click it, and switch it to on, okay? It has to say on, otherwise the music won't play properly. And now when you go to test the microphone, check it out. Okay, I don't know. You should have heard it. Let me do it again. That's what the audience is hearing, the music of your computer, instead of having to share the audio through Zoom. Okay, so that's something also very cool and very useful, because for example, if you have a teacher that wants to share a banner or a PPT or something, then you cannot share audio through your computer. But if you use this VV audio cable thing, it comes through your microphone, which means you don't have to share it from here and have to stop the sharing of a teacher or something. Okay, so that's also pretty useful. That's pretty much it. I mean, in Worldview Productions, you guys have, like, for example, all these classes about to start, and the PPTs and all these things that you want to share. Now you can do it through your camera. And like, for example, if you have another teacher join in your call, then instead of having the share screen and you want to show the PPT, instead of having the share screen and making the teacher very small and then the PPT very big, then you just do it through your computer, and you can spotlight the PPT and you can spotlight the teacher. Let me do something for you guys. Give me 1 second. Let me show you. I mean, in this one, I don't have. There we go. Like, assume, as I don't have somebody else in another call, but assume this guy is the teacher, and this lady, sorry, and she's teaching, right? And she's like, oh yes, I'm gonna teach all of you whatever, and this is the PPT. Or the teacher says, oh, please show the video, and then you go and then you show the video, and you have the both of them side by side at the same size, and then the experience of the users is better, because honestly, the audience wants to see the teacher more than anything. So that's how cool this tool is. All right. The last thing that I want to teach you or show you tonight, or today, to this morning, wherever you are, is the timers. For Mac, I recommend this app called My Stream Timer. This is a very cool it's freemium, meaning that they have a free version and a premium version. I use the free version. I don't need more than that. which allows you to put a timer, like let's say 4 minutes on the clock. And you can show it in OBS as a camera in the chat, which is pretty cool too. It's kind of bigger, so the audience can see it as another audience member. And you can make it bigger or smaller. You can change the color of the letters. You can put a background image, like for example, let me put something here. Let's put Geshe Michael. It's a pretty cool image. Okay. You can make this the timer. Okay. So how does this work? The way it works is that you gotta, when you download this app, the timer, it creates, you can see here that it says file name, right? So it creates this file, which is a TXT file that you can add to OBS through a text source, okay? You can call it like clock2 or whatever. And let's actually, you know what? This will help me in the future. Let's rename it. Let's put it up. Let's call it up, and we call this one, rename to down. So the up one, you can see here that the app has 4 sources for down, a countdown basically. It means down means countdown. You can set it as a specific time you want or in a specific hour. For example, let's say the class ends at 6 p.m. So it tells the audience like, hey, this is the time that you have remaining for the class to stop. Let me see. It should be like we stop, we select 6 p.m. I'm in countdown 2, that's why it's not working. So we stop 1, we select here, we go to 6 p.m. and right now it's 5:14. If I start, it should give me like 45 minutes. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so you can set the point is you can set a specific time, or you can a specific hour or a specific number of minutes and seconds, and it will show you that through this file name. And you can do it up to, like let's say I want 10 minutes that goes, meaning from 0 to 10 instead of from 10 to 0. As you can see here, this is going down to 0, okay? But let's say I want one that goes from 0 to 10. And the file here is called count_up.txt. So yeah, that's okay. Okay, if I click on copy, it will tell me the path to the file is located here. Okay, so what I have to do is I copy this path, and then we go to OBS. I go to my op source, I go to properties, and instead of doing manual text input here, I go to file, from file. And when it asks me to browse, I just go here and I paste my path, or I copy the file name. I go to Macintosh. And then I just find the name of the file. I click on open, and then I can select my colors. Let's say I want something like yellow, very, very, something that it's hard to miss. And I can give it some texture like this for it not to look too boring or too plain. And we can put an outline on it. Okay, maybe a shadow to make it prettier. And then we click OK. Now, this is an important thing that you need to learn. I don't want to see the countdown anymore. What do? I go to my sources and I click on the little eye, and it's hidden now. Then I go to my app and I click on Start. And now you can see here on the top right that I have my count up clock. So from the minute 10, it'll start counting up. So I just make it bigger. I'll put it here. Now, one question, guys. Why is my program still showing my countdown if I already hit it in the preview? Well, because it's a preview. It doesn't matter what changes I make in the preview. The audience will not see anything different than what I have sent to my program. So in order to send the switch to the program, I have to click on Transition. And now you have the count up in the screen right here. Okay, the start at, we can stop it and we can go down to 0 and start from 0. Okay? So this is how you put a clock in the through OBS in your camera. Okay. Now, what are the cons of this? That since you will be using the OBS camera, you won't be able to open your camera. Is there a solution for that? Yes. The solution would be, like, depending on what you want to keep showing. Let's say that I want to keep showing the watch. So I'm gonna hide the background, and I'm gonna add a new source of video capture device. Video capture device. And then I will select MacBook Pro camera. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's how it works. And if you gotta admit, it's pretty cool. The next video will be how to do the exact same thing. For those of you that have Windows, the process is exactly the same. The only different thing will be the voice meter thing, because it's a different software. But the rest is the exact same process in OBS, so you don't have anything to worry about. So that's it for this video. See you next time.